As a former teacher, again, how would you bring that perspective to the board?
I think I'm in a unique position where I've seen the history of the district over the last 36 years. I've been a part of it, and I understand a lot of the issues that the district is facing now because they've faced some of the same issues in the past. I also think I have an inside appreciation for what it's actually like to be working with children every day and to be a part of the issues that concern teachers and the staff that work with students on a regular basis.
Now, I've noticed that you have an acronym in some of your flyers and online, ACT, ACT. Can you tell me what that stands for?
Well, the first one is accountability, and that's for verifying decisions or actions after they've been taken. Everyone, the board, the superintendent, administration, teachers, parents, students, and the community really have a stake in holding the board accountable for achieving what the desires of the community are in terms of the education of its young people.
Okay, and what does C stand for?
C is for communication, and oftentimes there is a big lack of communication between central administration and the teachers who are in the trenches on a regular basis. People really want to know what's going on, and they need to know that in a timely fashion. I don't think that there is any reason why we can't have open communication at all levels.
Okay, and then the T, what does that stand for?
Transparency. And this is a word that's been bandied about a lot, and I was a little bit hesitant to use it. But basically, we need to have open and frank discussions without any fear of retribution. I know there are quite a few teachers who are afraid to speak their mind. Whether that's justified or not, I can't get into here, but that is certainly the perception. The financial state of the district needs to be easily accessible from the public or by the public. I think that our website needs to have some major overhaul. It's really not user-friendly, and I'm an employee of the district, or I was an employee of the district, and I found it hard to navigate. So I can imagine how difficult it would be for someone who's not in the midst of it to navigate the website. I think we need to put as much of our language into really clear English and not rely on educational jargon, much of which is actually borrowed from other professions. Sometimes the jargon is such that people are afraid to ask for clarification on it for fear of, not really knowing what's going on or understanding language that perhaps they think they ought to be able to understand. Transparency also encourages improvements and corrections to decisions before they're implemented. The democratic process and consensus is really important in this area, and I think we need to have a lot of voices that are not afraid to speak out, and that we really need to look at what we're doing from a number of different perspectives.
Okay, one final thought. You stated in one of your flyers that a new director will harmonize the board. I'm assuming that you're referring to your experience as a high school orchestra director. Would you care to elaborate?
Sure. I've spent a long time in my career directing students. This last year at Century, we had 75 students in symphonic strings, as you know, and it takes a lot of patience and humor and skill to produce a concert that is worth listening to. And during that process, I have to consider the different levels that students are at, from students who are relatively inexperienced playing their instrument to students who have been playing since they were 3 years old, and bringing them together for a particular end. And I think I can use those skills in unifying the school board, because right now it's pretty dysfunctional. And I think before we can accomplish anything at all, that has to be addressed and fixed.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. And just as a reminder, again, you can vote for Julie Workman in the primaries for the Rochester School Board, seat 4, on August 10th, and then the general election on November 2nd. So be sure to get out there and vote. and make your voice heard. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Nathan Schwab. Have a great day.